Well, hello, Southern Oregon. Welcome back to the Real Estate Show. I'm Alice Lema, your host of the Real Estate Show. I'm a broker here in beautiful Southern Oregon with John L. Scott Real Estate. So glad to have you back. Today, we're going to be talking to Mr. Michael Henn. He's the head of Rogue Home Repair, and he's going to be talking to us about some tips on home improvements, how to do things, how not to do things. He's also going to be talking about home maintenance, decks, and fences. So it's going to be great to get his input and get some ideas from him about what we can be doing on our properties this summer. So before we get to Michael Henn of Rogue Home Repair, just want to take a quick minute and talk about what happened in the market this week because it was huge. We have a lot of stock market drama. We also had another really big interest rate increase, 0.75%. A lot of the lenders are now doing owner occupied loans in the sixes and the investor non-owner occupied loans in the sevens. So that is raising some havoc with our buyers and sellers. But you know what? We still have more people coming on the market listing their house. And it's an interesting dynamic because we may actually end up selling more homes this year just because people listed their houses. Why are people listing? Some are listing because they want to take whatever profit is left before prices finish adjusting. There's also this huge movement to sell your house to buy another one because why? Because you can. Because when there's choices out in the market, people feel more comfortable listing. We've had a lot of people holding back, putting their house on the market because they're worried about where they were going to go. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. That's partly why we have a radio show every week, is to track these micro movements and watch them turn into bigger movements or just kind of fizzle out. So right now it's looking like we've got a nice steady stream of new listings coming on. We still have some buyers. We still have a few more buyers and sellers. So it's that kind of a market, but it also depends on what price point you're in. The upper price points are starting to slow down. That's what slows down first. And then our buyers, you have to stay on top of it, stay in touch with your lender, get reapproved every week or two if you need to, because these interest rate changes make a difference. But all in all, we're still looking forward to a pretty active summer. And also this summer, with the homes we have already, we want to take care of them. And that's why we're talking to Michael Henn today of Rogue Home Repair. So he'll be with us in just a quick minute. We want to say thank you to our sponsors, John L. Scott, Ashland, Medford, Guy Giles, Churchill Mortgage, and our local Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the Real Estate Show, folks. Thanks for joining us again. I'm Alice Lema. I'm a broker here in beautiful Southern Oregon with John L. Scott Real Estate. And today we're talking to Michael Henn from Rogue Home Repair. Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
Good, good. So excited to have you on the show today. Home repair is one of my favorite topics, as most of our listeners know, but it's also one of their favorite topics. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Rogue Home Repair?
Yes. So my name again is Michael Henn. Um, I started I started this business in 2016. So where does that bring us?
So not that long ago, about 6 years,
No, not
about
not
12
that
years.
long ago. I came here from Dallas, Texas.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, I'd worked with my father for many years, all growing up. Um, So we did all sorts of things. Replaced sewer lines, water lines back in Texas where this is allowed. Redid apartment units. Rehabbed them after people moved out. So I got to experience a lot. Got to learn Spanish. And when I moved here, um, I just had trouble getting an in with any of the companies that I applied for. So I started my own.
that's
And
great. What a good solution.
yeah, I love it here. It's great.
So 6 years ago, you landed from Texas. You started this up, and I happened to meet you kind of accidentally. One of my clients, Mary, who we just sold her house, is getting ready to move. And I walked in, and there was this crew there, and they were doing an amazing job.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, she's been great to work with. Um, yeah,
So
we've
one
we've done. we've done the painting, some flooring, um, some work on our fence, a little bit of everything.
And that was really what impressed me is it was one-stop shopping. You had this crew there. They built her a new gate, which was fabulous, did all the inside painting and installed carpet and vinyl.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, normally you have to call like 6 different people because 3 of them don't show up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it actually works out better for both parties. When you can package multiple different projects into like one package, you get what's called like decreasing marginal cost. So each additional item gets cheaper. We're there, we're communicating with the customer. Um, we get to learn what they like, what they don't like, um, preferences, tolerances. Yeah, so it works out for everybody.
So how did you, is that an idea that you came up with as a business model? Or is this just something you put together for individual clients? Because
You
I
mean,
thought it was just brilliant.
you mean like doing work involving different trades?
Yeah, yeah, where you go in and the homeowner gets a package deal versus like in some home repair companies, they'll come in and do the, your fence and your gate, but they won't do your painting. Or they'll do your floors, but they won't repair the electrical. So that
So
idea of one-stop shopping is just really brilliant.
yeah, so I guess I started heading that direction more out of necessity and wanting to be a people pleaser and just say yes. So I've actually retracted back a little bit. So I've gotten better at telling people, um, hey, this area with the size carpet you have, it's not for us. But overall, I like to go through and have the customers explain everything that they like to do, and I'll go through and pick out ones that would be effective and efficient for us to handle. Um, and yeah, it's more of out of necessity and just trying to like be helpful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, there's a real need for that because it's hard for homeowners, especially the elderly ones, to even know who to turn to if they're getting one trade person here and one trade person there. So the fact that you organize it all, um, yeah, it was just really great.
I love it. I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So Rogue Home Repair, you've been around since 2016, so it's about 6 years or so, and you're licensed and bonded.
Yes, in the state of Oregon, you have to have a CCB license or an LCB license to do work on um, people's property, like even simple small things. Um, Anyone who has an active CCB license, um, they have an insurance and they have their bond. Um, CCB makes sure of that. So
And
that's
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 super
helpful for people to know.
well, and it's important because people don't always appreciate the license and bonding. But boy, if you're doing real estate repairs for an inspection addendum or getting the house ready to sell or something like that, you really have to have somebody. Well, you're supposed to have somebody licensed at all times, but yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a friend of mine who is a real estate agent, and I was doing some side work when I first moved here for college, and oh man, he let me have it. He was like all over me about it. He's like, I can't use you. You need to do this. Here's the proper procedure in the state of Oregon, and I took it to heart and like showed up with my paperwork the next month.
Yeah, it's just better for everybody. And we just want to stress that to homeowners if you're looking for people to help you that you get licensed and bonded people, right?
Yes, and projects over $2,000 also. The state of Oregon requires that contractors give homeowners a consumer protection notice packet,
I did
which
not know that.
yes, which details out how to check their license online, how to file a complaint, what a lien is. Um, it just gives them a little bit more information so that they can have power, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, just be informed
Knowledge of power.
consumers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about that. So what is that package like? Is it paper? Is it emailed? Like how do you deliver it?
So how I deliver it is I print out 2 copies. You can go on the CCB website. They have a PDF file you can download. It's entitled Combined Notices, and it consists of um, paperwork on what a lien is, proper procedure before starting your project, like just helpful tips towards a successful project. And then I believe one more that's on like arbitration, but there's 3 sections of it.
Oh,
And I print out
gotcha.
a copy for the customer, and I print out a copy that I have them sign and return to me. Um, and it's just basically says that I have given this to the customer. They've seen this information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I bet there's a
that's
lot of people that have been not getting that. We're all sitting here going, I never got one of those.
yeah.
um, yeah. So let's talk about particular kinds of repairs, like when you're helping people with their real estate, getting their house ready or dealing with inspect. Like what's some of the common things homeowners ask for?
Okay, so probably the most common involves making sure that the structure is, I want to say, like weatherproof, like painted, caulked,
Mm-hmm.
sealed, protected from the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not familiar with loans or financing or anything like that, but I have heard and experienced that a lot of deals, sales, situations won't go through unless like the roof is in good condition, everything's painted and caulked and livable. It's kind of like I think it's kind of like buying a used vehicle. The bank would probably rather loan for a new one because they know you're not going to have problems with it. So just the basics, functioning heating and cooling um, systems. That's probably what I come into contact with the most. As far
You
as
know what's
like,
interesting, and sorry to interrupt real quick, but that's what normally shows up on the repair addendums. It's servicing the HVAC, it's making sure the siding is weatherproof, and making sure the roof has 3 years or more of life on it. Yeah, that's exactly what they want.
yeah, and then I get a lot of questions on like, hey, I'm gonna fix up my house to prep to sell, and I turn all of that to, hey, ask your agent, ask a designer. I'm not that person. Um, and then I usually just will listen to them because I'm not the person to pick the paint colors in this situation. I would listen to someone like you, or like whether a tub or a shower is better, or carpet or vinyl.
You know, that's very interesting because the real estate agents do know what the buyers will pay more for at any given moment, and it changes constantly. So I think you're in a position to make recommendations, but good for you for farming that one out.
Well, yeah, when it makes sense, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're working with people, let's talk about bathrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say somebody calls you up and you go in and their bathroom's actually damaged and they didn't know it. They have water damage, they have dry rot, around the commode or the bathtub, something like that. Like, what are some of the possible ways of fixing that?
Oh, okay. So sometimes,
Did I just open a can of worms?
oh, a little bit. So sometimes you can just like replace the actual flooring material and the underlayment underneath. Sometimes portions of subfloor have to be replaced. If the damage goes underneath the tub or shower, sometimes that tub and shower has to come out.
Oh,
That's
you mean I got to take the whole thing out if
Yeah,
it's bad enough?
yeah, and sometimes it's really bad. And that's where you get into the gray area of, okay, now you're talking about you need a plumber out. Now you're talking about um, possibly permits. So there's a whole spectrum. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's simple. Usually it's just the flooring material and the underlayment. And that's pretty quick and inexpensive to replace.
But let's say, you get in there and you find out it's worse and it's going to be way more involved. How much of that are you able to help, continue on? Can you organize the rest of all those trades? You can kind of
Oh
keep the
yeah,
whole thing going?
yeah, absolutely. So we do tile setting in-house. We have to have a licensed plumber come in to do their part. But yeah, we handle all that. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So see, again, I like that one-stop shopping idea. So you can go in, and it happens all the time, especially with older houses. There's more going on than you realized, and you're able to stay on the job. It doesn't get passed off to a whole nother stranger to start over.
Oh yeah, it helps. It helps a lot of times with communication.
Oh, yeah, that too. So we have to take a quick break. We're talking to Michael Henn, the founder of Rogue Home Repair, and we're having more time here right after a quick word from our sponsors. So do not touch that dial. Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to the Real Estate Show. Alice Lema here, broker John L. Scott, talking to Michael Henn of Rogue Home Repair. And right before the break, we were talking about bathrooms and what happens sometimes if you've got leaks here and there and some dry rot, and how it can turn into a much bigger deal.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Actually, just before we started talking here today, I actually came from an appointment looking at a bathroom, which is exactly what you described. Um, yeah, we're gonna have to tear in and see, but it should be a simple 2 day job.
But are you going to have to remove like the tub or the shower or the floor or something?
No, thankfully not. This one's actually going to be quite simple. It's just new flooring, underlayment, and trim.
Oh,
There
that's
wasn't.
a relief.
Yeah, they put underlayment underneath that vinyl flooring, and it bubbles up often if you don't have proper sealant, like against the tub, for example.
Oh, no, really?
Yep.
Wow. So, when you say underlayment, what exactly are you talking about? Just for the people that don't know what that is.
So you have your subfloor, which is typically thicker.
Uh-huh.
Um, all of your interior walls, usually exterior walls too, everything's built on top of your subfloor.
Mm-hmm.
And when you install products that require gluing down, oftentimes you'll install a 1/2 inch, basically like particle board.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I mean by underlayment in this case.
And if they don't do that right, what happens?
Oh, if the flooring doesn't have good, if there's not a good seal in between like the tub and the floor, or um, where the trim and the floor meet, like right outside the tub, that's where often you'll get a lot of water getting underneath the floor, and then the underlayment bubbles, and then you have to go in and tear it up and hope that there's not hope that it's not been like this big ongoing leak that's caused a bunch of damage. But yeah, that's super common, very common.
Yeah, it's amazing how those little leaks can turn into big disasters, especially if you don't know.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
So, when you're dealing with people's flooring, what's the most common type of flooring? Like, what are people wanting these days? Because there's a lot of different materials.
So usually, like, they call it luxury vinyl plank,
Uh-huh.
and oh man, we install a whole bunch of that, whole houses all over. Um,
Is that the most popular?
yeah, it's probably the most popular. Yeah.
Do
Um,
people ask for wood anymore? It's kind of expensive, but
yes, we will install like pre-finished
the
floors, but
engineered.
yeah, well, we don't do the finishing of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not efficient or effective for us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they sell engineered wood flooring. They sell hardwood flooring that's already pre-finished, so it's
Mm-hmm.
already got a it's already stained, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
We'll install that. We'll install tile too. Tile is usually more expensive, so people only do like small areas with it. Laminate, I try and steer people towards the LVP, the vinyl
Mm-hmm.
plank.
Excuse me. It's more forgiving.
Yeah, well, it's like completely waterproof. I mean, I have pieces as a coaster.
Oh, that's funny. For those of you who
It's
can't see, he's holding up a piece of
oh yeah,
luxury vinyl plank. That's his coaster. That's super fun.
it's just when they're cut off. But, yeah, it looks good. You can get them in different colors, textures. The veneer layer on it, you want to get a thicker one. So like, I have customers all the time, and when they go into the store, I'm like, don't get the cheapest. Like, have them call me, and I'll tell the salesperson like, hey, this isn't like a pain to install, right? It clicks together real well, and they'll usually line customers up with a good product.
So are you saying that some of the less expensive vinyl plank doesn't actually connect to each other as well?
Well, it's got like it's almost like a tongue in a groove kind of,
Right.
and if they don't click together well, it can cause problems with the install. It can take more time. They can separate. It's hard. I've installed really cheap products, but like sometimes you can't tell if it's clipped together very well, and you want to do it right because with flooring, if you have to go back, you have to do it in order. So yeah, so I just am kind of picky. I like to talk to the salesperson that they're speaking with and
But
make
you know
sure
what
to
I
get
like about that is you're setting people up for long-term success. You
yeah.
know, instead of just saving $3 in the beginning, because it seems like when those floors fail or there's a problem with those luxury vinyl plank or laminate, it's always in the middle of the room.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
not on the end. It's going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's in the smack middle.
Yeah. We actually had a flooring job lined up, and the product we couldn't the product wouldn't install right. It kept breaking. Um, so we had to turn it to somebody else. And we tried to get the customer to switch it out and get a refund, but yeah, we knew it would be a problem. So they're
Well,
getting it
it's
installed, but it's not going to be a very good long term solution.
so that's good to know that the product you're buying, the materials matter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, I didn't know that. I have floors installed all the time. I didn't know that it made it a difference.
Even paints.
Oh, let's talk about paint.
So
Let's talk about paint.
I'm not like super I'm not super knowledgeable about paint and the chemicals involved and how it works, but I do know a couple basics. So like if you go to and get like Glidden, for example, like the cheapest, you go to Walmart, get the cheapest, you're gonna be applying that like 3-4 coats. You're gonna be
Oh, it doesn't have as good a coverage.
well, then you get runs. It doesn't have as good of hide. What they Oh, that's
Oh,
like terminology for like hiding the color behind it,
uh-huh.
and you'll get runs. It takes significantly longer to put on the wall. um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I've ran into that a lot where customers will supply their own paint. So I tried to stop doing that and just have them pick the colors
Mm-hmm.
because you don't think about those unless you don't think about that unless you do it very often. But if you go with a slightly better product, um, it'll be so much faster to install. Um, yeah, a lot less runs, better hide. Also, primer, paint and primer. Usually, that refers to it just having better hide.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm going off on a
Well,
tangent.
no, but I like how detail oriented you are because I think a lot of us walking around feeling that all paints are kind of created equal and it doesn't really matter. The same with flooring. So understanding that there are certain properties, I guess you'd call it, of the paint that will, again, you'll have more success with it and you'll be happier with it after. I think that's super important for people to know.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you don't have to go all out for flooring or paint or whatever it is. You can go with like mid-range. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference for sure.
Yeah. So when you walk into somebody's house and they have really dark colors, um, I'm thinking, is that a time to, I mean, you're going to have to recommend 3 and 4 coats or?
So, so you'd actually use like a primer. So primer serves many purposes. It can serve to provide better adhesion to a surface. Um, but in this case, it's basically a cheaper white latex paint that you can put on that
Oh,
will
really?
help
Is that what it
hide.
is?
Yeah, well, it'll help hide the color underneath. So actually, there's
Yeah.
I know some of the paint companies in town. I know Miller has their own like recycled paint brand, and you can buy recycled paints.
What is that? What is that? I don't know what that is.
So you can, when you buy paint and you have leftover in the can, you can take it back to the store and they'll recycle it. And some companies will take all this paint and they'll actually make new paint to sell out of it.
No kidding. They put it in another can and sell it again?
Um, yes, but it's a little more
More
it's a
elegant.
little more yes. But you can buy like 5 gallons of this paint for a significant discount.
That's awesome.
Have different like pre-made tints. So if you have black walls and you want to paint green, you can go and you can buy this recycled paint that's already tinted a sort of
Right.
green, and
Right.
you can use that as a primer,
Wow. That is so interesting.
and then put the actual green that you want on the
Uh-huh.
wall, so you're not messing with many coats.
Wow. So recycled paint is available. I had no idea. That's
Yeah,
actually brilliant. Plus, then people aren't dumping the paint on the ground in their sink,
yeah,
sneaking it
sure.
into the dump, something like that.
Most paint places will take the old paint can so long as they have a label and it's sealed and it's still liquid.
Uh-huh. Okay. Wow. I didn't know that.
Liquid.
And then the idea that certain undercoats or certain primers could have a tint to it, because certain colors hide other colors.
Yeah,
That's the
so
other thing.
you
I don't think people understand that if it's tinted a certain color, that would be more ideal to hide another color.
yeah, and you can even get your primer tinted.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. People who have to wear makeup know that.
Yeah. Oh, I guess some nice.
So yeah, it's the same idea. That is so interesting. Okay. So recycled paint, it sounds like not everybody provides that. Is that what you were saying?
Um,
Everybody provides it or just some people?
some paint stores will sell that, and
Okay.
it's just a cheaper product that you can use to hide a previous color
Mm-hmm.
using primer.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, yeah. They only sell it in I think like one type of sheen, like maybe eggshell or
Oh yeah,
satin.
I'm assuming no choices, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
That's not what you're paying for. Yeah,
yeah.
that's super cool. Um, so we've got more to talk about because I want to talk more about tile and we want to talk about kitchens next. But we do have to take another break. We have to say thank you to our lovely sponsors. We're brought to you by John L. Scott of Ashland and Medford, our local Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. We're also brought to you by Guy Giles. And just a reminder, this episode will be repeated tomorrow on the same station, KCMX Radio 880 at 6 o'clock. We're talking to Michael Henn. We'll be right back. Well, hello again, everybody. Alice Lema here, John L. Scott. So happy to have you back at the Real Estate Show. We're talking to Michael Henn, Rogue Valley Home Repair, getting lots of good information and some really interesting tips. For example, did you know about recycled paint? Well, I didn't. So I'm so glad to have Michael Henn on. One of the things we wanted to talk about next was kitchen timelines, budgets, things like that. What kind of repairs and remodel things are you guys getting into this summer for kitchens? What are people asking for?
Kitchens, well, mainly, I mean, I've got a couple customers. They want kitchens in places where there is no kitchen right now.
Aha.
So that involves lots of picking their brain, design work, throwing out ideas. Um, it's going to be more heavily like, instead of like a firm bid, more like cost plus basis, um, which is just um, cost plus markup. Doing a lot of, I always do a lot of new tub surrounds, lots of tile surrounds for tubs and showers.
Yeah, that's super popular.
Oh yeah. I've got a couple jobs coming up where they use the wrong product. Um,
Are you
and
redoing? Are you the
yeah,
fixer?
well, the whole thing's got to come out. Yeah, the whole
Oh,
shower.
I'm sorry. That does happen. That's happened to me a couple times. It's a horrible spot to be in.
The whole thing's got to come out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
luckily, they knew before they moved in.
Well,
But
that's good. So,
yeah,
I wanted to ask you about the supply chain. Everybody's kind of trying to figure out how to get materials and stuff. How are you guys doing with the supply chain and materials and deliveries and timelines?
well,
Are
ever
you having
since
are you struggling at all?
ever since this whole COVID situation, we've had to. I've basically had to get like new pricing on materials that we use on a regular basis, almost weekly or every other week, just to
Yeah, wow.
to make sure, because I don't want to be telling somebody something and then it totally be wrong. So I'm constantly checking on that. I'm trying to use more materials that are in stock. So like when we do decks, for example, I'll try and steer people towards products that I know a lot of lumber companies around here carry.
Uh-huh,
Uh,
that's pretty smart.
yeah, like that brand, that color. It's not going to take a long time to get in. The biggest challenge has been appliances.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much appliances. Everything else I can pretty much get a hold of. Windows are taking longer, but that's kind of normalized out now.
It's getting a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks for like custom sized windows, which
That's like 2 months.
yeah, but I've had
Oh,
people wait. I've had people wait like twice that.
to get the windows they wanted.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and we're not talking like fancy windows. We're just talking like builder grade vinyl windows at a custom size.
Oh, what a bummer. 2 months. You hear that, folks? Order your windows first, right? Order the fridge and the windows first.
Definitely yeah, definitely appliances.
Well, that's good to know. So do you think people, because the economy is kind of weird right now, especially in the housing market. So do you think people are going to stay in their houses and remodel them? Or do you think they're just going to try to move somewhere else? You're kind of on the front lines because you get the phone call first where people are trying to figure out what to do. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, you want my honest opinion?
I do. Yeah.
Um, so I purposefully don't watch the news, and I purposely don't try and guess whether a stock is going to go up or down, whether the price of a property is going to go up and down, up or down. There's a book Warren Buffett wrote
Oh,
called
I love him.
Ground
Yeah.
Rules. And he basically says, we're not going to try and guess at this. We're just going to stick with good companies. And we're not going to buy and sell based on guesswork. So I try and not get involved with guesswork at all.
So you just work on what's in front of you. That's pretty smart.
Well, I know like the trend throughout history is properties will increase in value. I know inflation's a thing. I knew that like what we're going through now was going to happen when they first started meddling with COVID.
Oh, so you saw this coming.
Well, I had a business advisor who, as soon as they started doing these stimulus programs and started shutting things down, he like told me right away, hey, wages are going to go up, cost of goods are going to go up. It's going to take a while, but you're going to see more inflation than like I did when it was the 70s or something. Wow. He told me something like that, and that was like it was when all the COVID stuff was started.
A couple years back.
I don't try and guess. I don't try and guess. I just try and find like ideal customers with ideal projects, and just like.
Well, we'll have to have you back on at the end of the summer, and we'll have to see. Like, did you spend more of the summer like helping people put in new decks and fences because they're going to stay put, or did you help people getting their houses ready to sell? So this is like June. We'll have you back like September, October, and we'll see what happened.
I know when all COVID happened and everyone was staying inside, I know for a fact building, remodel, the whole industry just everybody was getting work done.
Yeah, but now it's so topsy-turvy. It's hard to know what to do. So I like your point of view. You just do what's in front of you. Don't panic, hold the line steady, and don't watch the news. We're not being political, folks, but that's just, our philosophy.
The house that I bought recently, it's like almost doubled in value, but it'll go down and then it'll come back up again, and I'll just hold on to it.
Yeah, and everybody needs a place to live, so it's not a bad thing. Yeah. So let's talk before because we only have a little bit of time left. It's summertime. People might be looking to do some outdoor projects. What kind of projects would you recommend?
Oh, well, okay. Obviously, you need your house painted. You need your house painted,
good.
And you need your roof in good condition. I would plan for winter, so
also good.
Gutters, drainage, just plan for it to rain in like 6 months and drizzle for a really long time. That's how it works here. I would plan ahead for that. Also, we do a lot of decks and fences, and I know I spend a lot of time on mine. Those are.
In Southern Oregon, it's great for that, and you can kind of help design a little bit. It sounds like.
Yeah. So, thankfully, decks and fences, there's not like infinite options like a bathroom or a kitchen. Generally, people have an idea of what they want. They have an idea of some railing systems. They have an ideal idea of a footprint. So it makes it a lot easier for me to be helpful.
And we're going to have to wrap it up right there. Michael Henn, Rogue Home Repair. We're going to have you back on. Lots of great ideas. Thanks, folks. Have a great weekend. Call Michael at Rogue Home Repair.